Hey, it's Soul, and today I'm peeking my head out from the sand to talk about the Mists of Pandaria remix. These are going to be very personal takes, what's good and what's great, and what's not so good or great. As in, what sorts of tweaks can we suggest to turn them around upside down? There's going to be no B-roll, so feel free to go back to whatever you're doing. I'm just going to be talking. As well as always, you can support the channel by hitting the like button, subscribing for more coverage, and catching me live in the mornings, live on Twitch. I'm going to say that overall, the remix is on course to be a really big hit with fans. It's doing a lot of the right things, like luring us in with these very easy wins. We're getting a path that lets us level a bunch of alts while farming up a bunch of new and existing cosmetics. We're getting gameplay that's like super ridiculous. It's letting us mow down hordes of bad guys without even breaking a sweat, and watch them pop in this series of icy explosions. We get to tell our unique story of how we became overpowered by, I don't know, maybe we immediately left that horde versus alliance battle and we went off on this fantastical and loot-filled adventure. And I'm gonna chill here. All right. At the end of the day, it's fun and it's worth checking out, even if you just want to make a trial character that goes up to level 20 to at least, see what things are like. But this is a video about giving feedback, critical feedback. I said that the remix has us gather lots of appearances while leveling alts, or to level alts while gathering appearances. It's important to point out that people prioritize this differently. The remix launched with, like I said, it's been a great start despite a really noticeable wrinkle, and I'm kind of saying that nicely. Like maybe for some, the remix has had its knees capped, and we're gonna get to that. The mop remix, it's like World of Warcraft, the arcade game. It's like Season of Discovery without any of the phases, without any pretense. It's just, go, go, go and get powers and get currency and then make decisions and then, do it again and again with multiple alts, because leveling with alts is fast. But is it really, faster than previous experience events like the Revenge of Korak or the Turbulent Timeways events? Actually, maybe that's not the right question, but it's more like, what happened to that 300 some percent experience multiplier that we first saw in the initial announcement of the remix? Now, as we know, and sometimes selectively forget, what's announced from the WoW team or other developers is always subject to change. But I gotta say, like when it comes to leveling, it's kind of a blind spot. Like, how dare you touch my leveling, Blizz? Right? Without getting too into the explanation on how it works, like instead of the thoughts that some of us had of creating an alt and then seeing the progression on our main simply get transferred over from old cloak to new cloak or whatever, we get this fixed boosted template based on our highest achievement. Now, because of math that I don't completely understand, I think it's kind of okay that we mostly get a big starting bonus to our main stats and versatility. It still makes our characters feel strong, but not so strong that weird things happen when characters of across a very wide range of levels are grouped together, and that's going to be another topic that I cover, don't worry. But I've been getting feedback that more than anything, it's just this really low experience cap that feels really disappointing compared to the 300% bonus that we saw earlier, or in fact, the 200% bonus that we saw from a preview just less than a week ago. Right now, it's only a 100% bonus or double XP, which is still good, but it's just not what we were initially shown. I'm sure players were hoping to have a bonus that, stacked infinitely, like stacked like 1,000%, and I don't blame them. I think it's almost a bug that the max bonus is only like double XP. Now, some folks have pushed back against that critique and pointed out that players can still build on that bonus as they level up on these alts and can easily reach that 200 or so percent multiplier. Like, for example, they can run Raid Finder difficulty, as that's been reported to give big experience bonuses, possibly to make up for the lack of experience that's given outside of that bonus bulk that you get at the end. To me, though, that doesn't make too much sense. Like, bonus experience feels better when it's immediately effective early on, and it feels like an odd use of my time when I have to at a low level, queue up for Raid Finder just to up my experience bonus when I want to do my actual XP farm. Like, I'd rather just do things that I want to do that ups my experience. Now, mentally, it's easy enough for me to shift gears and focus on the appearance farming benefits of the remix, but when I'm trying to focus on leveling, and not from farming appearances, I feel a little bit discouraged because of what's initially in front of me, this low bonus. In the end, though, my critique is less about how much that bonus is, but just that the previews planted a seed in my head, and the team didn't do as good of a job as they could have making clear like how this bonus would work. If there was room for change in a different direction, I would suggest adding a few more of those thread gathering achievements that give higher baseline stats, but instead of the stats, just focus only on the additional XP bonuses. Like, have us farm up, this many thousand more threads to unlock, progressively more experience up to maybe a 200% bonus. So maybe triple the experience to start with at level 10. Now, if there's a problem with that, maybe we can cap the additional bonuses that you would still get during leveling to 300% or 400% or something like that. Like, at that point, people will be leveling too fast as it is to gripe too much about that cap still not being high enough, because they're going to reach max level that much faster anyway. Another big concern that I've had, that other people have shared, of course, has been the scaling. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of crazy math going on. Like when you take a dungeon or raid and you have level 10s paired up with level 70s with these varying amounts of stats that you can equip via gem or straight up loot off of a frog's corpse. Somehow, all I guess that math is all supposed to work out, but obviously there are bugs and they can get really annoying. Like, I don't mind so much if a level 30 can rip threat off of me at max level in a raid. Like, that's a problem that I can gamer my way through. I can navigate through that sort of jankiness. But if I'm hit with like this little AoE cloud for 4 million damage, like 4 times my health, obviously the math broke somewhere. I'm not trying to make excuses for them, but it's pretty ballsy for the WoW team to allow scaling from level 10 to 70 and let these people play together, knowing that this is going to happen across a whole ass expansion, and there are countless scenarios to test out. Now, of course, credit where it's due. Like, for the most part, it works most of the time, but when it doesn't work out, characters are killed, parties and raids, they risk a wipe, and that's not so great. I'm sure the team is taking in all our reports and complaints and are working on solutions that are more or less like targeted, not like this whole cloth sort of thing. So they're working on a solution, and at least from what I've seen, the scaling favors us at max level in spades, in fact. So there is a light at the end of your leveling tunnel. Now, personally, I'm still a long ways off, but I'm at max level, but I'm also at this level where I can mostly not die trying to solo normal raids. I just don't have the throughput to make it through without like losing half of my day. Now, if I don't want a frog farm, and it's great, it's very in character for Mists to have this whole frog farm thing. But if I didn't want to do that, I can at least farm raid trash for a dozen or so of these threads, and then reset the instance and do it again with no risk of dying and no need to be in a group. For now, though, that's actually kind of all that I have to say. Like, I would say a little something about bronze farming and how players are a little bit torn between using their bronze on upgrading gear or buying the cosmetics that they're there for. And it's because bronze is, it's the only way to upgrade your gear past a certain point, and you're going to need a lot of it. I'm hesitating on giving a full take on this, though, because we're only a few days in, and it's hard to gauge what the remix landscape is going to be in the coming days, weeks, and months. Now, I put in a lot of hours already, but it only took me a few short days for me to be, at the very least, be very tanky in raids. Just again, not quite solo ready. Meanwhile, though, you got folks that are farming up these frogs to increase their stats super, super fast. And they are going to be like the spear that helps lots of people smash through dungeons and heroic and mythic raids. And those people, in turn, will get more powerful faster and more easily. So the friction is eventually going to smooth out, so that at some point, maybe really soon, we're going to see like 5-man groups that are capable of clearing Mythic Siege of Ogremar while carrying a whole raid on their backs. So that's going to be like 30,000 or so bronze each day as the raid resets. And we're only just getting started. So I'm going to have updated tips and guides in the upcoming reminder video. Stay tuned for that. And that's the feedback. And I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.